Welcome to About Mansfield. It is your audio newspaper. I'm Steve Casillo, broadcasting from the Cellmark Studios, along with the About Mansfield news team. Colleen Daniels, she's out there in Studio West. This is the March 5th, 2025, 261st edition. Coming up, it's Mansfield News, Talk, and Information.
And a little later in the episode, you will have a chance to win a $25 gift card to a Mansfield restaurant of your choice with our Mansfield Trivia Question, courtesy of Joe Jenkins Insurance.
Let's take a look at the stories we're covering this week.
The May ballot is officially set.
A tip of the hat to the Communications Department in a moment with the mayor.
City launches civics program for high school students.
And in sports, Lake Ridge forfeits basketball playoff spot.
And in the talk segment, Steve concludes his interview with Ben Barber Culinary instructors, chefs David Roberson and Zachary Mann. We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. This is About Mansfield.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool Hand, Cool Hand, Cool Hand, where excellence is still cool.
Are you ready to create unforgettable memories? Picture this: an enchanting event venue nestled amidst breathtaking landscapes with panoramic views right here in Mansfield. The Grandview Event Center is the perfect setting to bring your vision to life. From intimate gatherings to large-scale extravaganzas, the Grandview has flexible spaces to accommodate any occasion, be it a graduation or school function, art exhibition, or birthday or anniversary party. Book your next unforgettable experience at thegrandviewmansfield.com. That's thegrandviewmansfield.com. The Grandview Event Center, where memories are made and dreams become reality. Book your event today.
Hi, I'm Dr. Tandra Grimble with Stim It Up Sports, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield. This portion of the news is brought to you by the Grandview Event Center in Mansfield.
The deadline to file for the special election of the City Council Place 5 seat closed on Monday evening, and the May 3rd ballot is officially set. Place 5 is currently occupied by Julie Short, but became a special election when the councilwoman filed to run for mayor. On the ballot for Place 5 are Lance Hood, Melissa Perez, Eric Rozak, and Todd Simmons. Rounding out the ballot, the city council races include Place 1, the mayor's seat, Michael Evans and Julie Short. Place 2, Tamara Bounds and Lori Williams. The School Board of Trustees ballot is locked in for May as well. Place 3, Craig Tipping and Jason Thomas. Place 4, Kezia Valdez-Farrar and Ana Alicia Horn. And Place 5, Bianca Benavides Anderson and Jesse Cannon II. Dustin McDonald has withdrawn from the race. Mark your calendar. Early voting starts Monday, April 21st and runs through Tuesday, April 29th. Election Day is scheduled for Saturday, May 3rd.
The Mansfield City Council held yes, it's a regularly scheduled meeting, but a little early this month because of spring break. It was Monday evening, and as we do every Tuesday morning, we welcome Mayor Michael Evans with a moment with the mayor. Top of the morning.
And top of the morning to you too, sir. That's right. This is our spring break version.
What were you doing at 5 o'clock this morning when the storm blew through?
You know what? My alarms went off. My weather alarms went off. And I was hustling up my little wife with the pillows and blanket and making sure we were in a safe place in the house. But we were following it along with Greg Cutler and other folks from the staff, just making sure that Mansfield was safe.
Yes. I slept right through it.
Let's see there. You know what? You have become just too much of a Texan.
There you go.
Sleeping through storms.
The city council meeting, it was a small agenda this time around.
Yes, it was.
But
It was.
Started with a proclamation.
You know what? A real good proclamation. A proclamation recognizing Government Communicators Day, bringing together our communicators across several departments in the city. And our council was happy to acknowledge everyone, Steve, who works behind the scenes just to keep the public informed and engaged with our community right here in Mansfield. We do a lot now in regard to our social media pages. We have a videotaped recap. All of that stuff is taking place now, and we're pretty proud of what we're doing. And we know we're going to do more, but our communicators do a great job.
Absolutely. In fact, let's shout out Dustin there at the city, Ann at the Parks Department, Cecilia at the Police Department, Jeff at the Fire Department, who all help keep me informed, which helps keep the community informed.
That's right. And we can't forget Bernie McCraney.
Yes, indeed.
That's right. She does. Hey, listen, that whole team is outstanding.
City spent some money last night.
We did, sir. Council also approved $149,650 in regard to professional services contract with Land Tech Engineers. They're an LLC for construction and testing services for the Mansfield Stadium. So you're going to be hearing a lot in regard to that stadium because they are rip-roaring and steady as she goes, getting that thing built in good time.
That's right, because it's March of next year is the is the soccer season.
Yes, sir.
So it's coming around. By the way, coming up a little later in the podcast, you'll hear some comments about the new stadium.
Okay.
A rare commentary from yours truly.
Rare commentary. Well, I tell you what, I'll be listening.
There you go. The consent agenda only had 2 items. Any sexy ones?
Yeah, you know what?
Both of them.
Maybe so. Yeah, both of them, I tell you. We had an interlocal agreement with the city of Salina. Let's see how sexy that is. For a cooperative purchasing of fire-related services and equipment, all that kind of stuff. You know, when you buy in bulk, or you maybe get a little cheaper. Yeah. The other thing is it was a resolution to receive grant funding from the Homeland Security Program for our police department to actually purchase thermal imagers. This helps us to see in the dark if we have someone who's maybe lost in the woods. And on a very serious note, I mean, you can see these individuals. So we pray that both of these enhances our public safety, and that was it.
That's it.
That's the whole meeting.
In and out.
Kinda.
Okay. And the next meeting is March 24th.
That is correct, and we look forward to a robust agenda.
And in between there, will we see you at the Pickle Parade?
Of course you will. I will be there at the Pickle Parade, in the Pickle Parade and Palooza, sir.
Be sure to give us a wave at the announcer's booth.
It's a done deal. I'll do it.
All right. That, my friends, is called A Moment with the Mayor. That is Mayor Michael Evans, and we do this the Tuesday after every city council meeting. Mayor, go forth. Do your thing, and we'll see you in a few weeks.
Always a pleasure to be here, sir, and you have a great rest of the day.
The City of Mansfield is introducing a new program designed for high school students entering grades 9 through 12 in the upcoming school year. Called My Mansfield Miniversity, the initiative offers teens an opportunity to engage with the city's Civic Academy in a format tailored to their schedules. Following strong community interest, the program is set to return in the summer of 2025, with 2 sessions planned in June and July. The first session will take place from June 3rd through 5th, and applications are expected to open in March 2025. The program aims to provide students with a deeper understanding of city operations, networking opportunities with peers, and insights into the Mansfield Youth Council. Participants will take part in interactive discussions, facility tours, and hands-on activities, including visits to a fire station, economic development discussions, and a tour of the water treatment plant. To be eligible, students must either reside in Mansfield or be enrolled in the Mansfield Independent School District. For more details, visit the City of Mansfield's website.
Lake Ridge forfeits basketball playoff spot, and we'll talk about it because sports is next.
I'm Philip Washington, Chief Investment Officer of Stonehill Wealth Management and host of the Wealth Building Made Simple podcast. First book I read in college was Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it changed my life. And since then, I've read tons and tons of books on money. And what I've done is taken those lessons, simplified them, and I talk about those lessons on my podcast, Wealth Building Made Simple. So come hang out with us. We're on every major platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on YouTube. Wealth Building Made Simple.
Hey, it's Steve Casillo, and are you ready to make your voice heard? Want to bring out your ideas to life through captivating conversations and engaging visuals? Look no further than Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio, your one-stop destination for award-winning audio and video podcast recording. Equipped with cutting-edge microphones, crystal clear audio recording, and high-definition cameras, we're here to turn your ideas into engrossing content. But it's not just about the equipment. We're dedicated to bringing out the best in your content. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, we're here to elevate your podcasting game. We'll even help you with intro music, transitions, voiceover, and that professional polish that sets your podcast apart. So whether you're into interviews, storytelling, or simply sharing your expertise, Podcast Mansfield can help bring your podcasting dreams to life. Visit podcastmansfield.com. Podcast Mansfield, where creating your podcast masterpiece has never been easier.
At Methodist Mansfield Medical Center, we've been caring for our home team for over 15 years. Today, you'll find award-winning physicians on the medical staff, advanced neurosurgery, a Level 3 trauma center, critical care for newborns, and comprehensive orthopedic care. Methodist Mansfield, delivering the care our friends, neighbors, and home team depend on. That's community, and why so many people trust Methodist.
In sports, the state semifinals started this week in boys basketball, and Lake Ridge could have been a contender. Mansfield ISD has confirmed that Lake Ridge High School boys basketball team will not continue in the state playoffs due to an ineligible player participating in the February 21st area championship game against El Paso Eastlake. As a result, Lake Ridge forfeited the game, allowing Eastlake to advance to the regional semifinals despite their 71-35 loss. Lake Ridge was ranked 22nd nationally and 3rd in the state, and was scheduled to play Flower Mound Marcus in the 6A Division I regional semifinal last Tuesday. However, the eligibility issue was reported to the UIL, leading to their withdrawal. According to the El Paso Times, the forfeit was announced just 4 hours before tip-off, preventing Eastlake from taking their place as the team had already returned home. A district statement explained that UIL rules require forfeiture in such cases, and the decision was made in cooperation with the organization. The district expressed regret over the situation's impact on students, families, and the community. The specifics of the players' ineligibility had not been disclosed. Lake Ridge had defeated again Eastlake 71-35 to advance before the issue was identified. The UIL confirmed Mansfield ISD's self-reporting of the violation and upheld the forfeiture. The city of Mansfield is building a new stadium. There's no surprise right there. It's set to open early next year, but there's been plenty of debate about its value, especially with the North Texas Soccer Club, the stadium's main tenant, only playing there a few months out of each year. Last week, I was in Peoria, Arizona, a city I hadn't visited since 2002 when my family and I made the drive from San Diego to watch our beloved Padres in spring training. Back then, Peoria was a quiet suburb of Phoenix with about 115,000 residents. But what I saw last week was a completely transformed city, thanks in large part to its sports complex. My brother, a Peoria resident, took us to dinner at a steakhouse right next to the Peoria Sports Complex, the training home of the Padres and Seattle Mariners. I was stunned by the development around the stadium. According to ChatGPT, there are now over 30 restaurants within walking distance of the complex, offering something for every taste and every budget. Of course, Peoria had its own skeptics before the stadium was built in 1994. With a population of just 63,000 at that time, many worried that the $32 million in public funding, that's approximately $62 million in 2025 dollars, would it burden taxpayers? Would the stadium be used enough to justify the investment? Would it actually boost local businesses? And with downtown Phoenix a minimum 30-minute drive, Was the complex too far from the action? Is any of this sounding familiar? Yet today, the Peoria Sports Complex is a year-round hub for major and minor league baseball, concerts, festivals, corporate events, sports leagues, and even car shows and fireworks displays. It not only has been a financial success, but also a model for other shared-use stadiums. The surrounding P83 Entertainment District has become an economic powerhouse for the city of Peoria. Let's get back to Mansfield. Just like Peoria, the North Texas Soccer Club may only play here in 2026 and beyond for just a few months out of the year, but the stadium manager, Rev Entertainment, has promised a packed schedule of events throughout the year, just like Peoria has done. Sound familiar? So my thinking, let's give it a shot. Maybe you'll never set foot in the stadium. Maybe your family or friends won't either, but just like the famous quote in the movie Field of Dreams, build it and they will come. And if our own Field of Dreams turns into an economic win for Mansfield, we might just look back and wonder why we ever doubted it. That's my opinion. What's yours? If you have a comment about the show, the news, whatever's on your mind locally, the good, the bad, the ugly, you can reach us by voicemail at 817-435-2938. Think of it as your audio letter to the editor. That voicemail again, 817-435-2938.
Coming up after the break, we turn the page to the features section.
It's Arts Week in Mansfield, and tourism manager Tim Roberts talks about it in the Cultural Arts Calendar.
I'm Angel Biasatti, and today on Methodist Mansfield News to Know, we're talking about something that could save your life.
In this week's Cocktail of the Week, imagine capturing springtime's first blush in a glass, where garden-fresh strawberries dance with aromatic herbs and effervescent bubbles and create a celebration of the season's renewal.
We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. I'm Colleen Daniel, and this is About Mansfield.
This portion of the news is brought to you by the Grandview Event Center in Mansfield.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool hand, cool hand, cool hand, where excellence is still cool.
Congratulations to Vince Escobedo, who knew that the Mansfield Dam is located just outside of Austin. When we come back, this week's trivia question. I'm Colleen Daniel, and this is About Mansfield.
Hi, this is Joe Jenkins with Joe Jenkins Farmers Insurance, specializing in auto, home, commercial, and life insurance. I was born and raised here in Mansfield, Texas. We're active in the community, and Mansfield's a town we really care about. Our office has over 30 years' experience in the insurance industry, and we're passionate about what we do and about customer service. For a free quote, please visit our website at joejenkinsinsurance.com or give us a call at 817-472-6058. Once again, that website is joejenkinsinsurance.com.
It is time right now for the highly coveted, wildly popular About Mansfield Trivia Question. The first person to email the correct answer to trivia@aboutmansfield.com will receive a $25 gift card to a Mansfield restaurant of your choice. It's brought to you by Joe Jenkins Insurance. Whether you're looking for homeowners, auto, commercial, or any other type of insurance, Joe has helped Mansfield area residents understand the insurance coverage that best fit their needs since 2010. You can find him on the internet at joejenkinsinsurance.com. Colleen, it's your turn.
Well, Steve, 2020 was our most recent census year. At that time, the Census Bureau estimated the population of Mansfield to be around 74,000 citizens. We've grown a little bit since then. The U.S. Census Bureau took its first reading of Mansfield back in 1880. This week's trivia question is, according to the U.S. Census, what was the population of Mansfield, Texas in 1880? Email your answer to trivia@aboutmansfield.com. Again, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, what was the population of Mansfield, Texas in 1880? Email your answer to trivia@aboutmansfield.com. Good luck, and thanks to Joe Jenkins Insurance for the gift card.
Hi, this is Vanessa Ramirez, Assistant City Manager with the City of Mansfield, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield, your audio newspaper. Let's open up the features section.
It is the first episode of the month, and you know what that means. It is time for the Cultural Arts Calendar, where we bring in the Tim Roberts, who is the tourism manager for the City of Mansfield. First of all, happy spring.
Spring, March. Man, March is just the biggest month in Mansfield. You know, it really is packed from the 1st to the 31st.
I was going to say, this is your time where, you know, people in November and December, they're singing. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Spring is your Super Bowl, is it not?
It really is. I mean, for the City of Mansfield, we'll talk about Arts Week here in a second. Arts Week through Music Alley and the Pickle Palooza right there in the middle. That is 3 weekends out of 4 with 3 of the biggest events Mansfield has to offer right back to back to back. So.
Let's get into the arts calendar. And right at the top of the list, you piqued my interest with this because they're coming from Fort Worth and doing a couple of shows here in Mansfield.
Special engagement at the Far Best Theater on March 8th and 15th, 4-day weekend. You've probably heard that name around there. Considered the funnest night out in DFW, improv comedy group, just legendary on that scene. And they are doing a special 2-weekend engagement, kind of starting off here at the Far Best Theater. They'll have shows 7:30 and 10 o'clock both nights. So a total of 4 shows across 2 weekends. Again, it's just amazing to have them here in town, these DFW legends.
And it's time for open mic night again.
Monthly open mic night, March 13th, 7:30. The most community activated night of the month over at the Far Best Theater, and kind of the unofficial kickoff to Arts Week, because it's the first event there on Thursday night, and then Friday we get going.
Here it comes. Let's go. Arts Week starts Friday, March 14th.
Let's get my auctioneer voice on and get through these real fast. How about that? We kick it off at 6:30 with a paint party that's going to be like painting with a twist. This is over at the Wallace Hall Art House. It is the house at 210 South Main Street, right next to the fire station, that we have retrofitted and renovated into now being a temporary art museum.
Awesome.
Then at 7 o'clock, the Texas Jazz All-Stars are playing over at First Methodist Mansfield. That's a free concert. Then the Mariposas de Mansfield is hosting their Folklorico Spring Showcase at the Far Best at 7 p.m. Then at Dirty Job Brewing, we have a dinner, theater, and murder called The Breadcrumb Hoax. That is also free at 7:30. Just be sure and grab some drinks and some food and have an amazing night. Then over at MPM Studio Theater, they've been with us from the beginning with Arts Week. They have The Little Mermaid Jr. at 7:30 p.m. on Friday night. There'll also be Saturday night and a Sunday matinee over at MPM Studio Theater.
So that takes care of Arts Week for Friday, the kickoff. We're heading into Saturday now. Buckle up, folks.
Saturday morning over at the Mann House, we got a twofer. The Mansfield Farm and Cottage Market will be hosting a special craft and cottage market from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then from 11 to 3 p.m., our Historical Museum will be hosting our Hands-On History. Yeah. You go and make historical crafts, get free tours of the museum, just get all that great stuff. Speaking of history, at 1 p.m., the Mansfield Historical Museum will also be hosting a historic architecture tour in downtown. Just meet them at 102 North Main Street there at the museum. Also downtown that day, the Fort Worth Songwriters Association will be doing a local music showcase from 1 to 5 p.m. at the Far Best Theater. It's free. Come and go. Come check out local musicians putting on a show there at the Far Best. Then we are so pumped for this one. This is an event in and of itself. Mansfield at the Mansfield Activity Center is basically Comic-Con for Mansfield, 2 to 8 p.m. at the Mansfield Activity Center. $5 admission. We've got a dozen local voice actors who are going to be out there, artists, vendors, food trucks, all sorts of amazing hands-on activities. So if you're into anything nerdy, geeky, cinematic, we're going to have it for you there. Then a free parent and child art class over at Kid Create Studio at 2 p.m. and a brush lettering workshop with Melody Odeluso over at the Wallace Hall Art House at 3 p.m. You can get more information on the website for ticketing for that.
So that's, let's see, we're only halfway through.
That's Saturday.
We've done Arts Week for Friday. We've done Saturday. Now it's, get ready because here comes Sunday and Monday.
Sunday, March 16th at the Far Best, 12 to 4 p.m. Again, Mariposas de Mansfield is hosting an adult folklorica workshop. So you can sign up.
And learn how to dance?
In 4 hours.
Yeah.
In 4 hours, they will turn you into a folklorico expert.
Wow.
I might be overpromising a tad bit, but you might at least know which foot is which by the time you're done.
Yep.
Then at 6 p.m. that night, we will have the official opening reception for the art gallery at the Wallace Hall Art House. That's free, of course. And then the Mansfield Philharmonic at 7 p.m. will be hosting a free chamber concert at First Methodist Mansfield. That's at 7 o'clock. And then that rolls us right into everybody's favorite, Kids Day.
Monday.
Kids Day, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in historic downtown Mansfield. We'll have about a dozen crafts, all sorts of historic businesses partnering with us. Just come up and down, walk up and down Main Street. Some crafts are free, some have a small charge, but just a great way to kick off that first Monday of spring break to get the kids out of the house. As a part of that, Will Baffle will be doing 3 free magic shows at 10:30, 11:30, and 1:30 p.m. at the Far Best Theater, about half hour long. And then speaking of the Mansfield Philharmonic, they will have their annual kids concert at noon that day. So you can pretty much just start your day at 10 o'clock, then head over there at noon, or start your day at noon at the kids concert and then head downtown to do all the crafts from, 12:30 to 2 or so. That's always the best way to split it in my mind. And again, you can get all the details on this at MansfieldTexasArts.org.
What a great way to start spring break. Bring the kids to downtown Mansfield and just let them run amok.
It's always been our goal with this event is to make it a cornerstone of, keep people here in town, or if you're stuck in town, you can't make going that big vacation, something really fun to do, something for every age group over the weekend.
Can we also promote, I know you've got one more item on your list, but prior to that is the Mansfield Pickle Parade, the Pickle Parade in Palooza, and the management has finally come to their senses, and they're bringing me in as their first-time announcer. So I'll be out there on Main Street with a microphone. Look at that. Another microphone right in front of my face. And I will be there as one of the 2 announcers announcing. So drop on by the Pickle Parade and say hi.
You'll be the Al Roker of the Pickle Parade.
That's it.
You'll be out there calling them all out and announcing them. Yeah, it's such a great local tradition. March 22nd there in historic downtown Mansfield.
And then finally.
Yeah, got to give it a little teaser. We'll touch on it next month, but save the date. Music Alley, April 5th, 4 to 10 p.m., also in historic downtown Mansfield. We're wrapping up the schedule right now. We're putting it out here this week. It is going to be an awesome, awesome Music Alley this year.
That is the cultural arts calendar. That is Tim Roberts, tourism manager for the city of Mansfield. And Tim, we'll see you next month.
See you then.
Angel Biasatti has important information that could save your life in Methodist Mansfield News to Know. Angel?
Recognizing the early signs of colon cancer. Colorectal cancer is a serious threat, ranking as the 3rd leading cause of cancer-related deaths in men and the 4th in women. Each year, it affects more than 107,000 people and claims 50,000 lives, according to the American Cancer Society. But the good news is it's one of the most preventable and treatable cancers if caught early. Regular screenings, a healthy diet, and exercise can significantly reduce your risk. Screening colonoscopies are essential. Studies show that when detected early, 80 to 90% of patients can be successfully treated and return to normal health. Most colon and rectal cancers begin as a benign polyp, small growths on the bowel wall. Left untreated, they can grow and turn cancerous. That's why it's so important to remove them before they become an issue. If cancer is found, treatment typically involves surgery, sometimes combined with radiation and chemotherapy. Thanks to advancements in minimally invasive techniques, including laparoscopic and robotic-assisted surgery, patients can experience faster recovery times and less scarring. How can you reduce your risk? Well, there's no guaranteed way to prevent colon cancer, but certain lifestyle choices can lower your risk. Eat a low-fat, high-fiber diet. Limit alcohol and avoid tobacco. Stay active. Just 20 minutes of exercise 3 to 4 times a week can make a difference. Certain factors may also increase your risk, including a personal or family history of inflammatory bowel disease, ovarian, endometrial, or breast cancer. Being of African American or Hispanic descent can also increase your risk, as these groups have a higher risk. Colon cancer often has no symptoms, but if you notice persistent rectal bleeding or changes in your bowel habits, such as diarrhea or severe constipation, don't ignore them. Schedule an appointment with your physician right away. A little attention to your health can go a long way. Stay proactive, get screened, know the warning signs, and take steps to protect yourself. To find a GI physician on the Methodist Mansfield medical staff, call 1-877-637-4297 or visit methodisthealthsystem.org. I'm Angel Biasatti, and we'll see you next time on Methodist Mansfield News to Know, right here on the About Mansfield podcast.
Shaken or stirred, you know it's going to be good as Brian Certain serves up springtime's first blush in a glass in the cocktail of the week. Brian?
As we welcome March 2025, our cocktail series, Spring Awakening, celebrates nature's reemergence with libations that showcase the season's bounty. Throughout this month, I'll explore cocktails that capture the essence of spring, featuring fresh herbs, seasonal fruits, and bright awakening flavors that mirror the world blooming around us. We're launching our spring series with a cocktail that perfectly bridges winter's departure and spring's arrival. This week's feature is Strawberry Fields Forever, a sophisticated tribute to both the Beatles' classic and the first strawberries of the spring. While strawberry cocktails date back to Victorian-era punch bowls, this modern interpretation elevates the classic combination of basil and strawberry, a pairing first popularized in Italian cuisine before making its way into craft cocktails during the garden-to-glass movement in the early 2000s. But as always, don't worry about taking notes, and I'll be giving out all the ingredients and instructions and posting them every Wednesday on bourbongospel.com. The ingredients. You're going to have 1.5 ounces of London dry gin. This is really important that it be a dry gin, not one of the more botanical gins, because those flavors will get lost with all the other things we're putting in it. So again, 1.5 ounces of a London dry gin, 1 ounce of fresh strawberry puree, 3 fresh basil leaves, 1/2 ounce of fresh lemon juice. We're going to have Prosecco to top, and then a fresh strawberry and basil sprig for garnish. To make the strawberry puree, you're going to take 2 cups of fresh strawberries whole. That means take the green stuff off. 1 tablespoon of simple syrup, and then blend until smooth, and then strain through a fine mesh. For spring in a glass, in a shaker, you're going to gently muddle the basil leaves. You're going to then add the gin, the strawberry puree, and the lemon juice. Fill your shaker with ice and shake vigorously for 15 to 20 seconds. You're going to double strain into a champagne flute and then topped with chilled Prosecco. Garnish, fresh strawberry and a basil sprig. Flavor profile. First thing you're going to get is that huge hit of strawberry. The botanical gin, the London dry gin, is really going to pair beautifully and really elevate the strawberry in this cocktail. The second, you're going to pick up those herbaceous basil notes. And then finally, the finish is going to be bright, effervescent, with subtle citrus notes. Why begin our spring series with this cocktail? Well, the arrival of fresh strawberries has traditionally marked the beginning of spring's harvest. This cocktail celebrates the moment while demonstrating how fresh ingredients can transform familiar spirits into something extraordinary. Pro tip, the quality of the strawberries is crucial. Let me say that again. The quality of your strawberries is crucial. Look for berries that are fragrant and fully red. No white shoulders. If fresh strawberries aren't quite in season locally, then high-quality organic frozen can work well for the puree. As always, I'm open to hear your take and your input. You can reach me at brian@bourbongospel.com. And until next week, as Mark Twain said, too much of anything is bad, but too much whiskey is barely enough. Reporting for the About Mansfield podcast, I'm Brian Certain.
We're back in 60 seconds with the conclusion of Steve's interview with Ben Barber's culinary instructors, chefs David Roberson and Zachary Mann.
Imagine a city where innovation knows no bounds, where dreams take flight, and the future unfolds before your very eyes. Welcome to Mansfield, a beacon of growth and a testament to vision. In the heart of Mansfield, a remarkable transformation is underway. But it's not just about the physical landscape. It's about the spirit that drives us forward. A spirit of collaboration that bridges cultures, a spirit of entrepreneurship that fuels prosperity, and a spirit of community that binds us as one. Mansfield is more than just a place. It's a canvas where diversity paints the picture of progress. From art festivals that ignite creativity to tech hubs that redefine boundaries, this city celebrates every voice, every passion. Mansfield, where growth knows no limits and the vision is limitless. Brought to you by the unstoppable spirit of the Mansfield Economic Development Corporation.
Hi, I'm Ebony Turner, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to another segment of About Mansfield. I'm Steve Casillo as we make the transition from news to talk. And today we conclude our two-part interview with Ben Barber culinary instructors, chefs David Roberson and Zachary Mann. Enjoy. We talked about the challenging dish for your students. We talked about the everyday, most popular dish for your students. What would be, not necessarily for culinary students, but for the average student in general, what would be the one dish that every student should learn how to cook?
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm a little biased, but I would say some kind of a pasta, just because it's simple. It's a lot of pantry staples. So, you could get back from a flight, not have anything, and you can still have a good meal. And I don't know, just some kind of pasta.
Yeah.
I would say that most people need to learn how to cook chicken, right? Definitely. And keep it moist, right? Without drying it out. Because I get a lot of questions from people at church, from people in the market. How can I cook my chicken and keep it from being dry when I eat it?
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's a challenge. And so people need to learn this word, brine. And
sure.
If you brine it first in some type of liquid or, you get it brined before you cook it, and it doesn't always have to be cooked in a skillet. It can be seared and finished in the oven, right? Different ways to cook chicken to just keep it moist. And that's the one thing I get.
That you don't have to just put a chicken in a pan and that's the only way to cook it.
Right.
You can start it in a pan but then put it in the oven.
And finish it in the oven.
Or you could
you can put it in the oven and finish it in a pan.
Like cooking cooking a steak.
Yes.
I may sear it out on the grill, but then
finish it in the oven.
Finish it in the oven.
Yes. That there are more than one cooking methods. Let me correct that. There's more than one cooking technique, right? Because the method falls under moist or dry or combo cooking methods, but the technique is just change it up some. I can sear it and then I can roast it, and I may have a better chance of locking in moisture and things like that.
Is sous vide being taught in your school?
Yeah, Chef Mann teaches sous vide.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. First of all, for the listeners who don't know, describe what sous vide is and then what you're doing in the classroom.
Yeah, so sous vide translates to under vacuum, but nowadays the use of sous vide, typically you put it in a vacuum seal bag or some kind of vessel like that, and then you have a warm water circulator. So that's going to maintain the water temperature. Typically, you'll set it, just below medium rare or wherever you want to cook your protein. And then it's super simple because you can just toss the bag with a steak, chicken. We did some pork loin last year. I've even used it for really coffee and eggs.
Really?
Yeah,
yes. Nice.
You can poach an egg inside the shell by using sous vide. So
you have to have Chef Mann's iced coffee that was sous vide.
Yeah.
This is a big deal at our school. Chef Mann's iced coffee.
Yeah, because it's a type of cold brew, but we do it at a low enough temperature in the sous vide so that it's still considered cold brew. But instead of taking 24 or 48 hours, we have it in 3 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I did a ribeye roast sous vide, and it was in the water for about 12 hours.
Yeah. Wow.
And because it's such a big piece of meat.
Right.
But And then I took it out to the grill and basically just flame seared it.
So reverse sear.
Sear.
Yeah, reverse sear.
And it came off. Who was the Thanksgiving hero?
Yeah, you were. I think that's the fun thing about food is that we get to make people smile. And that's the one thing that we talk about a lot with our students is, why do you do this? Why hospitality? Why food service? Why culinary? And I believe all of us have the same answer: to make someone smile through what we created. It brings joy to people. It brings joy to me to cook for someone and they enjoy it. Right. So I'm very passionate about that. And I believe our students are becoming more passionate about it because they're understanding better why we're in hospitality.
Yeah, exactly. I think one of the reasons I like to cook so much is because of the creativity.
Right.
Yeah. And then again, as I mentioned, a dash of this and a dash of that. And, you take a little dash of a spoonful and you taste it and you go, this could use a little more salt or what have you. And my love for cooking actually goes back to high school as well.
Right.
That when I was a freshman, I took a gourmet cooking class.
Wow.
Now, my brother, who's older than me, when we were trying to figure out what are my freshman classes, he was all about, let me tell you what the easy classes are.
Right.
Yeah. And he goes, dude. Well, dude, you didn't say dude back in the 70s.
Right.
He says, hey, you got to take gourmet cooking. Now, he took it for the easy A. I fell in love with it. In fact, this would be 1975. There is a dish that I learned in 1975 that I am still cooking to this day.
That's good.
A German apple pancake souffle.
Wow.
That
sounds good.
To this day.
You perfected it by now.
It is. It's.
So you and I have a similar story there.
Yeah.
Because I fell in love with cooking in a home ec class. And I made a 1-pound hamburger trying to imitate a restaurant in town that made these huge hamburgers. And it was a challenge, but I made it.
Yeah.
Right. And so ever since then, I'm just like, man, I just loved it. So that just spurred me to keep going with it.
Was it like a Bob's Big Boy type 1-pounder?
It was called Ed's Burgers. It was in Oklahoma. It was just what he did though. He just had really big buns and he put a whole bunch of hamburger patties on it. But I made an actual big burger and got the bun to fit. So it was
like the 72-ounce steak at the Big Texan.
Yeah. If you could eat the whole burger, you got it for free.
Yeah.
Nobody could eat the burger.
There you go.
But I didn't share that 1-pound burger. I ate that whole thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Talk about the career advice that you give to your students to help them prepare for that next step.
I'll let Chef Mann go first.
Okay, Chef Mann.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think the biggest thing is you can't, especially in this industry, you cannot be afraid of hard work. Mm-hmm. There's going to be some long days, long hours, but at the end of the day, like Chef Roberson said, it's hospitality. We're taking care of people, and that's really the big thing. But also, I did go to culinary school, and I enjoyed having that nice foundation of just broad culinary skills before I went into the industry. But that's not for everyone. That's part of why we were kind of shifting towards that ACF direction, because in our industry, a lot of people haven't gone to school for this, and there are definitely other avenues. So just being open to different experiences and getting that foundational base as opposed to just immediately trying to climb the ladder like, I'm going to get executive chef by the time I'm 24, because it's going to be a tough climb.
Right.
Sure.
So for me, I talk a lot about soft skills and having soft skills and being a team player and being open and coachable, because we're all trying to grow in this industry. And I think our kids, as Chef Mann mentioned, they want to go and, I'm going to open a restaurant in the next year, and it's not going to happen. You're going to have to work for someone, and you're going to have to learn about this industry and the business side and all those things. And then you do that. And the way you grow in this industry is that you're open, you're coachable, you're flexible. You yes, sir, no, sir. You have those skills that are still rock solid from the beginning of time. You treat people, because you work with a plethora of people,
right?
Many different races, and you have to be able to listen to everyone. So some days you're leading, some days you're following.
And there is a level of discipline in there where you are addressing the other chefs as yes chef, no chef.
Yes.
So you're seeing that in
the TV shows.
Yeah,
Gordon Ramsay.
I was going to say the Gordon Ramsay show, but I was going to say Kitchen Nightmares, but not that one. That the other. What's the one where it's going up and down the elevator?
I watched it once. I know what you're talking about. It was a Gordon Ramsay show.
Yeah,
where the food was going up and down, and you were in the basement. Or you were
the Next Level Chef.
Next Level Chef.
There we go.
Yes. That's or Iron Chef or even the Bear. Yeah, there is that level of discipline where everyone's addressing themselves as yes chef, no chef, and Gordon seems to be a little tough. Is it tough in your kitchen? Are you the Gordon Ramsay of Ben Barber?
I think we're all the chefs at our school have a little Gordon Ramsay in them, but we don't use profanity with the kids because. But I think we are tough in. I'll put it like this: Ben Barber Innovation Academy is, I would say, nationally known, probably internationally known for the standard that we put out. Definitely here in Mansfield, we're known. In Texas, we're known, and so we do try to hold all of our students to the standard, but we are flexible enough to help them reach the standard, right? We understand that not everyone has the same ability and things like that, so we teach all of our students. But there's a standard for our program, and we're trying to get them all to shoot for excellence. And so with that, I mean, there are some things that we're tough on, because they're standardized things like uniforms and things like that, because we get visited by a lot of professionals.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And we want our kids to put their best foot forward. So we have to go tough on some things. We go hard on the standard, but we're easy on the kids. That's our saying. Hey, go hard on the standard, not the kid.
Chef Mann, anything to add?
Yeah, I think a lot of that kind of mentality of I guess that Gordon Ramsay mentality comes back from just where the industry started with Escoffier, because he developed the kitchen brigade, that hierarchy system based off of the French army, right? Mm-hmm. So you still kind of have that drill sergeant not mentality, but that attitude. And as we, advance in the career more, obviously that side's kind of getting pushed back, because kitchens 20, 30 years ago, night and day compared to what they are now. So, I mean, obviously that baseline level of respect is just kind of shown throughout. Like even with us and the students, we don't just say, hey, you or whatever. It's, hey, student chefs, right? Because we're continuing that sense of respect. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would like to add that coming from a lot of professionals outside of our school district, they speak very well of our students. We just took them to the Craft Career Fair in Fort Worth with the Fort Worth Food and Wine Festival. And we had several people approach us to invite us to their companies based on what our students did in those rooms, the questions they asked, the level of intelligence of our students and the level of interest and passion that they shown. These were companies that don't normally ask you to come and do a field trip with them, but they were asking us to bring our students to meet their professionals that were working there. And that's just us going back to the standard.
Sure.
What we do in Mansfield ISD.
As I mentioned earlier, this show is being recorded on Friday, February 14th. It's Valentine's Day. Now, this is running toward the end of February. So what I wanted to do is prep people for Valentine's next year.
Okay.
So if you were to prepare a Valentine's meal, what would be on your plate?
Wow. Am I preparing this for my honey?
Let's prepare it for your honey.
Well, my wife's a vegetarian, so you know what I would do for her? I would do a Beyond Meat patty, but I would chicken fry it because she loves it. And then I would fill her plate with vegetables. And she's a baker, so I'd make fresh bread for her.
Oh, my.
And I definitely have some sweet tea because she's Texan. And then I would have some type of beautiful apple pie, peach pie, because she's a pie gal. So That's what I would make for, and I would cook a steak for myself.
Okay.
With those same vegetables, potatoes, the whole fixings, right? Because she's Texan, so.
What's your choice of vegetables?
I'm a broccoli guy.
Nice.
I like broccoli. I like carrots. I just fresh vegetables. Green beans, nice, good blanch on the green beans, saute it, salt and pepper, garlic. We're good, right? Just the simple things, because good food, high quality ingredients, they have a lot of flavor. So you don't need a lot of foo-foo things to make it taste good. So that's where we are. I think Chef Mann and I both share that passion like that. We don't teach our kids to kind of dress up food.
Yeah.
In the sense. So if I were making something for someone for Valentine's Day, it would be nice and simple, and it would be classic with a twist somewhere or there, but it would be really good, something they would enjoy.
Chef Mann, what's on your Valentine's plate?
Yeah, I think for me, I would have to go. One of my favorite cooking methods would be braising. So I would either do like a braised piece of beef, like a short rib, or maybe braised chicken thigh. That way, day before, maybe a couple of days out, I can just sear off the protein, cut off my like carrots, onion, celery, fresh herbs. That way, day of, I just have to pop it in the oven. Maybe like a whipped potato with a braised short rib. And then dessert, I love citrus, so I would probably go something in like the key lime area.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
He likes key lime. He loves key lime.
Key lime pie.
We all know his favorite dessert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, cooking's fun. It's a beautiful thing.
It is.
It is one of the greatest things in the world.
Creme brulee, my absolute favorite.
And you should try it at Savvy's.
And and it's very easy to make.
You could get a trio at Savvy's.
Yeah. Yep. I did have that. I ate at Savvy's a couple of months ago, and we got the trio, which I believe was also at some chocolate. Yeah. Like a chocolate mousse or chocolate.
Yeah, we had a chocolate creme brulee, key lime creme brulee, and vanilla bean with vanilla bean paste. So
that's what I had.
Yeah, and then we do the fresh in-house made whipped cream, chocolate shard, fresh slime zest, and cookies. So it all ties together pretty well.
Creme brulee is just 4 or 5 ingredients, and then you put a flame to the sugar. I mean, how easy is that?
Yeah.
The kids love it.
Oh, yeah.
They love making it. They love eating it, too.
Yeah.
Chef Mann, if someone wanted more information on Savvy's, where they can eat, how they can eat, what time they can eat, who, what, when, where, and why, tell me about Savvy's.
Yeah, so Savvy's, the most up-to-date info is always going to be on our Instagram, which is Savvy's Bistro, BBIA. Or you could like Savvy's Bistro on Facebook. We're always going to post our calendar with our days of operation, but we're open most Wednesdays through Fridays, noon to 1:30, and that's going to be building entrance 12 over at Ben Barber. So you just kind of have to go around the building. You see the entrance with the large 12, and that's where we're located.
If you're standing on the street looking at Ben Barber, it would be off to your left.
Yes, sir.
Chef Roberson, if someone has a child that is interested in culinary, how do they get involved?
I definitely would go to our Ben Barber website. Yeah. They can find us all there. I'm at David Roberson at misdmail.org. They can also like us on Instagram at MISD Culinary, and they can see some of the interesting things that we do in class. Yeah. So our club officers, they post a lot on our at MISD Instagram page of the things that are going on in class. They can see their students, just the things that we create. Just email one of us, one of the chefs. You go on that page, email us, and we can give you the rundown of the whole program. They also have our scope and sequence. The career cluster book is there, so you can go through and see all the classes that we offer in culinary arts.
Very good. And then to both of you, is there anything that you want to add before we say goodbye?
Look for us and come and get some of our delicious barbecue. We didn't talk enough about barbecue today, but I believe that we have some of the best barbecue in Mansfield if you've never had it. So when we have those fundraisers, come out. We'll be hosting a regional barbecue competition on April 4th and 5th for the Texas State High School Barbecue. And it'll be a great time to come out and see some kids doing some amazing things with some open pits outside.
Yeah, and actually, if you want to see that barbecue team competing last year, the Magnolia Network, Discovery, they did a TV show called Texas High School Barbecue.
Barbecue High.
Oh, Barbecue High.
Yeah,
Okay,
Barbecue High.
Yeah.
And Chef Roberson, as well as the team, Officer Beasley, one of the other coaches, they're all featured on the show, and you can actually watch them get ready for competition and eventually competing.
Yeah. So, check us out. Doing a lot of great things in Mansfield.
Chef David Roberson, the department chair, and Chef Zachary Mann. By the way, this interview actually came together. Thank you for to Chef Mann for the email that you sent to me. Apparently, I did a news story last year.
Yeah.
On the culinary program. And you said it was a belated thank you, but nonetheless a thank you email. And you invited me into Savvy's, and I said, I've already been there. I tell you what, instead of you inviting me, why don't you come on the podcast? And I appreciate you taking me up on that invitation, because it's been a very informative 45 minutes.
Yeah, of course.
Well, thank you very much for having us
us
and allowing us to talk about the students at Ben Barber. It's a pleasure always to talk about what we're doing and how our students are growing and prospering.
Thanks for being on About Mansfield.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you very much.
You.
We appreciate it.
Coming up next week on About Mansfield, we are going to dust off our passports and take a trip around the world with luxury travel planner Claudine Planter. You won't want to miss this one. In the meantime, this is the place you'll hear the latest Mansfield news, talk, and information. Until then, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, engage, connect, amplify, elevate. Support this podcast if you haven't already, so you never miss an episode. Head on over to our website, aboutmansfield.com. Right there on the homepage, enter your email address. We will never, ever, 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 ever send you any spam. We promise.
About Mansfield is recorded at Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio. Hosts Steve Casillo and Colleen Daniel. Moment with the Mayor feature, Michael Evans. Methodist Mansfield News to Know, Angel Biasatti. Cultural Arts Calendar, Tim Roberts. Cocktail of the Week, Brian Certain. Post-production editing, mixing, and mastering, Steve Casillo and Andrew Miner.
This podcast is copyrighted by Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this podcast without written consent is strictly prohibited. We thank you all for listening. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Steve Casillo, and this is About Mansfield.